Hi guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Now for this video I'd just like to review a Blu-ray which I recently purchased, and that Blu-ray is called Wrong Turn. Now this is actually the remake of the original Wrong Turn franchise, and I was very pleased with it. Like, I think it's one of the best remakes of a classic horror movie I've seen in a long time. Right, so before I speak a little bit more about my thoughts on the movie as a whole, I'll just give you a little bit of background on the story. Yeah, the movie was released in 2021. It was put back a year because of COVID, and it was directed by Mike P. Nelson. Now it stars Charlotte Vega, Adam Bradley, Bill Sage, and Emma Dumont. Now, the story is, to some degree, a little similar to the original Wrong Turn movie from 2003, but actually takes the story in a completely different, direction. The story's basically about a group of young friends hiking on the Appalachian Mountain Trail, but they actually stray off course, and they encounter this group of savages called the Foundation. They're like an underground cult, basically, that sort of like cut themselves off from the rest of America. The story is to some degree a little similar to the original Wrong Turn movie from 2003, but actually takes the story in a completely different direction, and a very interesting direction it is too, guys. Because in this reboot, the main protagonist, this group of friends, they don't encounter a family of inbred, bloodthirsty cannibals as they did in the first movie, but they come face to face with a sinister group of isolated settlers called the Foundation, headed by the menacing figure of Venable, played brilliantly by Bill Sage. Now, the Foundation hold the warped belief that the end of the United States is near, in addition to being very territorial about their borders to a fanatical extent, and a very menacing one as well. And then they take a very dim view indeed of anybody who dares to trespass, onto their territory, which is just what the main protagonists do in this story. And once the boundaries are breached, all hell breaks loose, as our heroes are mercilessly tormented, by these savages clad in like animal skins, hunted down and eventually taken prisoner, whereupon they are dragged before a kind of an underground kangaroo court, headed by, of course, the dominant figure of Venable. Now, our main protagonist, Jen, played superbly by Charlotte Vega, she's actually thrown a lifeline by Venable, but it's a very unsavoury one. Venable, finally swayed by Jen's urgent pleas to spare both her own life and that of her friend Darius, agrees not to kill them on the precondition that both join the Foundation with sincerity and devotion, rather than just temporary shallow interest, just to avoid execution. Thus both Jen and Darius become enrolled into this cult, the Foundation, and that's all I'm going to say about the movie for now, because I don't want to spoil it, for anybody who hasn't seen it. Now, onto my thoughts. Onto my thoughts as a whole on this Wrong Turn reboot. I was very pleased with it. I was quite surprised actually, because I went into this movie not expecting much, and I came out of it, the end of it, I really felt I'd really being entertained, and that, I think it's as good as the original. I mean, I love the original as well, but I think this is just as good. And I like the different spin they put on it. I like that they took it down this path of this cult, the Foundation, headed by this sinister character Venable. And I like the new spin they put on it. I like the different folk horror elements as well. It was in some ways it was reminiscent of the Wicker Man and Adam Neville's Ritual. If you've seen that movie or read the book, that's a very good folk horror story involving a cult pretty similar to this one. Yeah, and it got a wonderful character, wonderful villain in the form of Venables, you know, as I say, played brilliantly by Bill Sage. And they also like the little subplot involving Jen's father, you know, Scott, who comes looking for Jen, you know, once she's gone missing and that, and he runs into all sorts of problems and that with the locals and that, yeah, and yeah, so yeah, I like the foreboding woods as well, you know, the you know, it was creepy woodland and that, yeah, and yeah, it was all the acting, like, you know, it was very good. The acting was very good, yeah, and I like the intricate, deadly traps what the Foundation set, you know, for the, you know, the main protagonists. And I like the sheer air of terror and menace that radiated, you know, from this cult, the Foundation. Oh, and I love the twist ending as well, but I'm not going to give away, obviously I'm not going to give away that. I want you to see it for yourselves and you know, see how good it was and that, you know, how unexpected, yeah. Very, very well directed movie, lovely cinematography, and it was a very gripping and entertaining film that, you know, that held me in tension from start to finish. And the movie, it did have some quite chilling moments, guys, including one horrific scene where Venable cold-bloodedly bludgeons to death one of the captives, and then earlier on in the movie, one of the friends is crushed by this big rolling tree trunk. Yeah. Now, the story for this movie was actually written by the same guy who wrote the script for the original Wrong Turn, namely Alan B. McElroy. And a very fine job he did too, guys. Yeah. Now, although this reboot does share its predecessor's brand, you know, the name Wrong Turn, it's a movie that pleasingly and refreshingly does its own thing. And the only real similarity it has to the original Wrong Turn franchise is the vast woodland setting. But then, as I say, it does its own thing. It goes off in its own direction. Yeah. Yeah, but as I say, I like both movies. I mean, like, I like the original one, and I like this one as well. I like what they've done to the story. Yeah, I was really made up to get the slipcover edition as well. I've been looking for the slipcover edition for ages and that, you know. Yeah, so I finally got one. You know, finally got one on eBay. Yeah, so really made up with this. Yeah, yeah, it's one of me. I think this is the best remake I've seen for years, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, fantastic movie, well directed, all good acting. You know, it was a real treat to watch a remake that didn't disappoint. You know, because as you know, if you've been watching some of the videos, some of the remakes I've watched, I haven't been very pleased with. You know, I thought they were atrocious, but this was a real pleasing exception, guys. Wrong Turn reboot, and I highly recommend it. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give Wrong Turn, the reboot, I would give it 10 out of 10. Yes, a whopping 10 out of 10, because that's how much I like this movie. It was a fantastic movie, and if you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend it. You know, yeah. But that's just my opinion. You know, don't take my opinion in stone. I'm just recommending. I thought it was a very good movie, and you know, if you like this sort of thing, if you like good old backwoods horror, you know, and it's got multi-layered. It's got a multi-layered aspect to it as well. You know, I mean, like, it throws up all sorts of questions and that, you know, about, like, well, what would you do if you were cornered by this group of isolated, this group of isolated backwoods people who were sort of like living their separate lives, completely away, detached from civilized America. You know, and as I say, the main villain, I can't even speak. I haven't even had a drink. The main villain, Venable, you know, is one of the most sinister characters I've ever seen in a modern horror movie. Yeah. So yeah, all the crew that worked on this movie should be highly commended. They've done a fantastic job with this. Yeah, and it's a lovely addition. Really is a lovely addition. Yeah. Okay, so that's my review of Wrong Turn. You know, the reboot. Yeah, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised actually if they made a sequel to this. Yeah, but yeah, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. So I'm really made up with this, getting the slipcover and that. Yeah. So this movie did do the original justice. You know, it was well directed, and I like the aspect of the kangaroo court as well, where Venable, you know, he chairs it and he brings in the remaining victims and that, and he passes judgments on them and that, you know, yeah, and the way the girl, the main protagonist, like Jen, she pleads with him, like, you know, if he spares her life and Darius's life, she'll sort of like help him, you know, help us cult and that, you know, provide some use. Yeah, yeah. But I won't say any more about it, guys. I'll let you see it for yourself. Yeah. Okay, so that's my review of Wrong Turn, the reboot. Have you seen this movie? Leave your comments down below. I'd be very interested to hear, you know, what you thought of it. Yeah, so that's it for now. If you like the video, please feel free to share, subscribe, comment. And all going well. I'll talk to you all again soon. Stay safe.